I'll never forget the conversation I had with my boss after I got passed over for an advancement. I asked him straight up, "What is it I'm missing? I hit every metric. My team's performing. What else do I need to do?" And he said something that stung. He said, "Rod, I can't promote someone that leadership doesn't know exists." That hit me hard because I thought I was doing everything right. I was solving problems, delivering results, building a strong team. But none of that mattered because nobody outside my immediate circle knew about it. I was invisible. And here's what really gets me: I see this happening to talented managers every single day. People who are genuinely good at what they do, just quietly disappearing into the background, while someone else, often less capable, gets the recognition and the promotion. Today, I want to talk about what I call contribution invisibility, why it happens, and what can actually be done about it. Let me paint you a picture of what contribution invisibility looks like. You're managing projects that actually move the needle. You're developing your people. You're the one everyone comes to when something's broken because they know you'll fix it, and your boss really depends on you. But when leadership sits down to talk about high performers, when they're discussing who's ready for the next level, your name doesn't make the cut. You're creating genuine value, but that value isn't translating into visibility with the people who make decisions about your career. Now, here's where most managers go wrong. They think the answer is to work harder, take on more projects, put in more hours, and prove themselves even more. But that just makes the problem worse. Because the issue isn't that you're not producing enough value. The issue is that your value isn't visible in a way that matters to the people who can actually advance your career. Think about it from a leadership perspective. Your VP is juggling 15 different priorities. Your senior director is thinking about quarterly numbers and strategic initiatives. They're not tracking every good thing you do. They can't. So when your contributions stay buried in the day to day operations, when your wins look like just doing your job, when your value isn't connected to what leadership actually cares about, you stay invisible. And the managers who do get promoted, they're not necessarily better than you. They've just figured out how to make their value visible in the right way. Let me be straight with you about what it's at risk here. When you stay invisible, you don't just miss out on one promotion, you get stuck in a cycle. Each year you're overlooked, you fall farther behind the people who started at the same level as you. Your compensation tends to stagnate. Your career momentum dies, and worst of all, you start doubting yourself. You start thinking maybe you're not as good as you thought. Maybe you don't have what it takes. Maybe you should just be grateful for what you have. But here's the truth: you do have what it takes. The problem isn't your capability, it's your visibility. And I know this because I've worked with hundreds of managers who were stuck in this exact place. Talented people who were genuinely creating value but weren't getting recognized for it. The good news is, once you understand how visibility actually works, you can fix it. It's not about changing who you are, it's about being more intentional with how you communicate your value. So let me show you what I call the visibility gravity system. It's built on four pillars that work together to make your value impossible to ignore. Pillar one is value identity. This is about getting crystal clear on what value you actually create, not just what you do, but the outcomes you produce that matter to the business. Most managers can tell you their job responsibilities, they can list their tasks, but they can't articulate the specific measurable value they create. Here's what I mean. Instead of I manage a team of 8, it's my team reduced customer response time by 40%, which directly improved our NPS score by 12 points. Do you see the difference? One's a job description, the other is a business outcome. You need to identify your 3 to 5 core value drivers, the things you do that actually move the needle for the organization. Not everything you do, just the things that matter most. Pillar 2 is value expression. Once you know your value, you need to communicate it in language that resonates with decision makers. This isn't about bragging, it's about translation. Because here's what I learned: the way you think about your work and the way leadership thinks about your work are often completely different. You might see yourself as keeping the team motivated. Leadership sees that as reducing turnover costs and maintaining productivity during organizational change. You need to connect what you do to what they care about: revenue, efficiency, risk mitigation, and strategic goals. That's how you get their attention. And pillar 3 is strategic performance. This is where most managers waste their energy. They're working on everything instead of focusing on the high visibility, high impact work that actually matters. You need to be selective about where you invest your time and energy. Not every project deserves the same level of effort. Not every problem needs to be solved by you. Ask yourself, is this visible to leadership? Does it align with the strategic priorities we have? Will success here create opportunities for me? If the answer is no, delegate it, minimize it, or find a way to make it strategic. Because when you're invisible, you can't afford to waste time on the work that doesn't build your reputation. Pillar 4, reputation architecture. This is about consistently showing up as someone who delivers value in a way that builds your professional brand over time. It's the small, consistent touches that matter. The way you communicate in meetings, the quality of your written updates, the reliability of your follow through, the insights you bring to conversations. Reputation isn't built in one big moment, it's built through consistent, high quality interactions over time. And here's the key: it has to be authentic. If you're faking it, people will sense it. This only works when it's genuinely who you are, just communicated more intentionally. Now, let me give you 3 specific things you can do this week to start fixing your invisibility problem. Step 1, do a value audit. Sit down and write out everything you've accomplished in the last 3 months. Not your task, your outcomes. What changed because of your work? What got better? What problems got solved? Then for each outcome, ask, who cares about this? How does this connect to the organizational goals? What's the dollar value or strategic value? This exercise alone will change how you see your own work. Step 2, create your visibility map. Make a list of every decision maker who influences your career: your boss, your boss's boss, key stakeholders, senior leaders who you interact with, and for each ask, what do they value? What are their priorities? How often do they hear about my work? This map will show you exactly where your visibility gaps are. And then step 3, start strategic touch points. Pick one decision maker from your map. Find one opportunity this week to share a relevant insight, solve a problem they care about, or contribute to something on their radar. Not a status update, not a report, a strategic contribution that demonstrates your value. Do this once a week and watch what happens. Here's what I want you to understand: your invisibility isn't permanent, it's not who you are, it's just a result of how you've been operating. And the beautiful thing is, once you start being intentional about your visibility, everything changes. Not overnight, but steadily, consistently. Leadership starts noticing you. Opportunities start coming your way. And your name starts coming up in the right conversations. You don't have to become someone you're not. You just have to communicate the value you already create in a way that actually gets seen. If you want help getting started, I've put together a free visibility starter pack. It includes a value audit template, a visibility gap assessment tool, and a strategic touchpoint guide. Everything you need to start making your value visible this week. Grab it at the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.